The Nike Vomero Plus at 100 plus miles. Is this one of the better daily trainers in my lineup, or is this shoe just better off getting returned? Let's talk about it. So before we get into the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're a subscriber watching the content, thanks so much. Love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Strava for all sorts of other updates and things of that sort. Let me know what you think about the channel. Comment below. And without further ado, let's begin. Specs for the shoe somewhere where you can see them. So I will caveat this as we review the outsoles of the shoes. This is the 100 plus mile review, but we are much closer to 150 plus miles than we are 100. So the wear is going to be a lot more than what we would expect, but we will kind of dive into that a little bit later as we go. If anything, it'll just make the point that we won't be talking about the shoe at 150 plus miles. We'll just next time check on this thing maybe a week or two from now at 200 plus miles. So here are the things we're going to note with the outsoles right off the rip. Let's start with the right shoe. Always something fun going on there, right? In terms of wear and tear, starting from the very top, I have a lot more abrasion, eroding of the toe box area of the shoe than normal, and then we have some wear of the exposed foam on the interior side of the shoe, which for me is quite expected at this point. Any sort of ridging like this, which is similar to what was in the DV8 Nitros from Puma, is sort of expected, especially if you're running on loose gravel or things like that. Those rocks can get stuck in between the shoes and just cause some physical damage to the foam outline there. But the rubber, for the most part, that's protecting the rest of this foam looks like it's in good shape, right? I think the most wear is still on the anterior side of the shoe. As you can see, I've kind of lost some of the lugs there, lost a little bit in the front. And I think the mid-foot area and even the very middle of the shoe are the only areas that are really kind of sharing the damage across any sort of impact from the shoe. So that's good. That's a good balance of both, my running form being in a good spot and the shoe just being able to take the load of whatever may be expected from whatever kind of activity you put into it, right? I think the same story can be said on this side with the left shoe, where the interior side is a little bit more beat up. You can see sort of where there might be some sort of frictional clash with the ground or any sort of debris that's sort of breaking the anterior toe box area of the shoe. No big deal, sort of expected. Again, what I'm looking for is how bad is the wear in the middle foot or the midfoot area of the shoe. How's the foam getting broken up? Is there any sort of real debris causing damage to the shoe? And as of right now, it looks like it's okay. I think what's really interesting is that the middle area of the shoe is just really taking the brunt of the damage, which is either, again, good running form or something with the mechanics of the shoe allowing the midfoot area of the shoe to take that sort of more impact than the rest of the shoe, which would be strange because this isn't really a low offset shoe. This is a 10 millimeter offset, so it's almost emphasizing the high heel strike effect for you as a runner. So that's just something to keep in mind, right? So as we talk about the upper, the toe box, the stability, the ride of the comfort of the shoe, I guess we'll start with one of the more interesting cons for the shoe, is that in size 8.5, which is my true to size for Nike, I do experience a little bit of beating in the toe box, whether it's because my foot's not locked into the shoe very well, whether the toe box is just generally a little bit tighter than usual because of the textile material that's being used on the outside of the shoe. Regardless, it's taking sort of a beating on my big toe on both of my shoes, which is sort of a concern, especially since the Alpha Fly 3s were the ones that ended up causing my toes to fall off on those particular toes. It's a disgusting thing. The toenails have grown back and all that, but in the process of healing those toenails, you don't want a daily trainer to cause those sort of issues. So the secret there is to not so much strike with the forefoot and toe box area of this particular shoe, but try to lean it back into the midfoot area, and that may sort of explain why the wear is sort of the way it is. But if you're experiencing a similar issue with the toe box being a bit too tight and kind of crunching down on your toes during your daily training session or anything, just comment down below. Just make sure I'm not crazy or anything like that, right? Other than that, I don't see any ripping of the textile mesh as I'm looking around the shoe. Everything looks like it's in good condition. The ZoomX, the faux ZoomX foam stack looks like it's in pretty good shape. The wear is sort of where I expect it to be creasing and fatiguing, which is in this like mid-foot, forefoot area of the shoe. Again, this doesn't mean anything. It's just where it's sort of beginning its, creasing. So as you're striking here more often, the shoe is going to, I guess, sink more into those areas. So that 10 millimeter offset could become an 11 millimeter offset in the long term. But again, we'll see how it plays out. But, 100 to 150 miles, it's in good shape. I'm expecting the Vomero to get to about 300 to 400 miles like its predecessors. And yeah, we'll see kind of if the foam does follow in that direction. Because again, this is unique where it is just one stack of ZoomX going throughout the duration of the shoe rather than two different stacks where an EVA foam compound is being introduced, right? Even though I think, as we talked about it before, that there may be some sort of like EVA, PEBA foam mixture with this ZoomX, so it's not like pure ZoomX like you would have in your Vaporfly or your Alphafly. So it's hard to say, right? We would have to like sample it somehow, and that's just a whole another can of worms I don't really want to open up at this time. I don't have the technology to do that, but it'd be really cool if we can kind of see the mixture of foam compound used for this. In terms of locking the shoe down, again, it's pretty good. You can see by the shoelaces that I have to kind of pull at it sometimes to get the lock where I want it to be. It takes a little practice. It kind of gets into its place every so often, but for the most part, I think tying the shoe down is really not an issue. It's just not as smooth as it would normally be. The one thing I am monitoring, though, is the eyelids for the shoes, right, on the sides. I don't want to do what I did with the Pegasus Turbo deployments that they had last year and break the eyelids from like friction of the shoelaces. So I'm just kind of paying attention to that, making sure I don't get it to those points. And yeah, that's so far, I haven't broken them, I haven't ripped them in any sort of way, so I think they're reinforced enough where it's not really an issue. Now, when we talk about ride-in performance, again, a lot of snap, a lot of bounce to these shoes. It's great for my long runs. It's great for just the everyday recovery run. It does run a little bit faster than some of my other recovery run shoes, which I sort of expected at this time. So like when we talk about the the Puma Mag Max Nitro, once again, you'll kind of see what I mean. But right now, the Vomero foam is responding quite well to any sort of striking I'm doing on the ground. So if my recommended easy run pace is like 8:05 to 7:55. This shoe comfortably kind of puts me at 7:45, so a little bit ahead. And these are per mile, by the way. So 7:45 per mile comfortably without really pushing too hard. And that I like, just being slightly ahead of the everyday training pace without having the heart rate sort of explode and go into a weird category or territory for that matter. But yeah, I would say at this point, the snap is still where I need it to be. The comfort is there. It doesn't feel like such an unstable shoe despite its stack of 45 millimeter heel, right? Like when you're walking, you can definitely feel a little bit of instability, but you're not trying to walk in a Vomero. You're trying to run in the Vomero, right? So I think where we will leave this right now is that at 150 plus miles, not too much has changed. There is a bit of wear on the outsole of the shoe that is expected, and some things I'm going to monitor on both shoes as we sort of move forward with our shoe reviews in this particular case. And I think with no damage on the upper, I would say that's a good thing. We have to figure out whether it's a me issue as in terms of the tighter toe box, or if this is a longer standing issue that you guys are experiencing. And then again, the lockdown of the shoe is fine. There's a lot of plush, a lot of comfort still to be had with this shoe at this time. There isn't a lot of, I guess, plush that's kind of sinking in or creasing away that is getting lost as the shoe's lifespan goes on. I think all of it is still there after having the shoe for the last 3-4 weeks or whatever I've had it for now. And yeah, I'd say I'm not returning it. I like the direction of the shoe where it's going. The Vomero Premium is definitely on my to-try list once it's out. But first, I would like to run this thing to the ground, kill it, get it all the way there, and then go to the premium and see how it compares to the plus, right? Because that's a highly ambitious shoe daily trainer that I've seen. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. So if you have any other thoughts, comments, concerns about the Vomero Plus, sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about the shoe. If there's something you want me to try that isn't already on my radar, let's talk about it. And then if you agree or disagree with the assessment, let's talk about it. It'll be kind of fun. So I will leave it at that. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.